Hey everyone, my name is Royce, and I'm here to share my life experiences and observations to hopefully empower individuals such as yourself to make better decisions in whatever situation you are going through or to better understand life. So, in this section, we're still on the three W's. In the previous video, we talked about, global pandemics, and now the second W is global war with financial destruction. And I know you may be thinking this one's an easy one, and you might be right. So I'm going to talk about it, from the rich mindset and then the poor mindset, and then we'll see how you can identify, navigate, and survive these. So, what is a global war? Well, first off, let's just pretend or go to the poor mindset, where it affects the most people. So, in the global war, it's basically huge disagreements from political standpoints or territorial standpoints or whatever. Someone has to lose and someone has to gain something, right? Could be anything. It doesn't matter. The whole point is we just want to identify, navigate, and survive it. So, in a global war, as you've seen in history or whatever timeline you're born in, there's so many key events that lead up to these global wars. And how it usually starts off is, like a little disagreement, on something, right? And then when it starts to get hot, there starts to be not only just disagreement, but then also a shift in powers or some sort of change in the way people are starting to talk and feel about political leaders. And it's mostly affects the top world leaders, and it hardly has to do with anything about people that just want to work and live a peaceful life. Okay, like poor people, they ain't gonna do anything. They don't start wars or anything. They can't do anything. Whatever time you're in, the most people that are able to start wars are the people that have the resources, the money, the capital, and the network. Poor people, like I said in previous sections, they lack mostly all of those. So it's highly unlikely that poor people would be the root cause of a global war. So then when you see the global war, it starts to escalate rapidly because then all of a sudden you have these like ambushes and things like that. And it also starts to appear on the news more and more. Like with every global weapon, the marketing and advertising and propaganda machine is like maxed up. It's turned on to the max. It's just printing and shooting out things, feeding you information. And unless it's a serious threat, like you can see it happening right before your eyes, you probably don't want to believe it. Now, this is the part where you should be starting to identify like the global war. So you already know, you're well aware of it, it's happening, right? And then how on earth do you navigate it? Well, usually it's going to affect a certain area or a certain demographic, and you just literally have to avoid that place for the time being. And if you are in that place, you need to do whatever you can to get out of that place because you don't want to we want you to survive. That's the whole point of series. I want you to make a better choice. I want you to live, and I'm sure other people want you to live too. And it's just unfortunate that global wars happen because of some argument from the higher ups, the rich people or whatever, which it most likely originates from. I don't think it can originate from anywhere else otherwise. So unless you have something else that it can originate from, we're just going to assume it's the most powerful people in the world because they're the people that can make the big moves. So yeah, just try to get out of that place. Try to remain calm. It's hard to be calm. It's easy to say, but it's hard to do. And hopefully you can get out of those places. And hopefully you can make people aware that, oh, we can identify why it's happening, identify who are the key players in here, and probably you can try to reason or talk to them or whatever, negotiate, compromise so it doesn't lead up to that point. So that's pretty tough. So I'm not going to say anything more about that. And then moving on to like the rich mindset. These people, they be looking at it as like a way to make money, honestly. They'd be like, oh, I need to find these people that are going to sell the weapons, going to sell the resources to fund these wars and be a vital business partner, in funding the war. I'm sorry to say that, but that's usually what rich people will try to look for instead. They don't really care what happens in the war as long as they make a profit out of it. I know that's hard to say, hard to digest, and hard to accept, but that's the reality in this timeline. Hopefully, it's not going to be the same in your timeline, and it's an actual real war, that's based on circumstances from an external enemy other than ourselves. All right. So, moving on, rich people will probably be in a group or something, and then they're going to say stuff like on the news and things like that, what they think, and then what their power plays might be and stuff like that. But unless you know them personally, you just don't know their motives, right? So what do rich people do to navigate and then survive? Well, obviously they're going to navigate with their resources, right? And to survive, they're just going to use their resources. So I don't think I need to explain further what like the rich mindset is when they are going through a global war. And most of them will probably just flee somewhere else or be like go into hiding or whatever in their expensive stuff. So what is next for like the global wars? Like how can you know that it's going to become a global war in the first part? Well, you just have to look at the global climate or like political climate on what's happening right now. And if there are so many moving pieces that are just like a lot of people disagreeing with each other and the world leaders or whoever's in power, and you're starting to feel like a tension growing in between and it's affecting your daily life, that's when you know it's going to become a real thing. So just be well prepared, and hopefully this information I'm giving or sharing, and I don't know what you want to make up use of it, so come up with your own ideas. Hopefully you'll be able to identify, navigate, and survive any global war, and hopefully you'll make better decisions and just or understand why this happened to you. And if you are a survivor of the global war, I feel for you. I hope your life will change for the better, and I hope the world around you will also change for the better. And remember, my name is Royce, and I'm just here to share my experiences, observations in life, to empower individuals, to hopefully give them knowledge to better help them to make better decisions in whatever situation they're in their life. And I think I pretty much covered most of the basic points that I wanted to say in this section. So we're going to move on to the next three W's. And the next one is going to be global propaganda, a very common one. So I'll see you in the next video.